For years, one of my biggest goals in life was to write a book. Now that I've been working on this third project of mine, it's crazy to me that that thought has become a thoughtful dream that's honestly just grown with each passing day. As I'm working on my third book, The Winning Complex, things have changed for the better. And I've found different solutions on how to go about the writing process without it being convoluted or messy. Even as a complete beginner, I've learned so many different ways to write a book, and this video is the easiest solution that I have for you if you've ever had the desire or even the thought of writing a book one day. Hello, if you don't know me, I'm Arnel Arcega. I'm one of the healthiest writers you will ever meet, and I make sure people stay on this path of reading and writing. I've been working on building this community of authors and writers that not only write well, but also do their life correctly. In short, they play to the best hands they got and live to the fullest amount. If you want to see how that works, you could check out my Instagram down below, along with my other socials and books. Let's get into what it takes to be an author. To be an author, there are plenty different benefits and areas that you have to play your hand at. For one, you have to think about the way you're writing, the way you're communicating ideas, and the generative thoughts that come with it. With AI and social media, it becomes easier but also harder to think about your own original ideas. Nothing is original. I won't say as an author to ever write something wholly original. That said, however, even as a complete beginner or someone working on a new craft and passion, the benefits of being an author go far and few between, bigger than anything you can imagine. One of the most notable benefits that I've personally gained from doing this craft for a good year or two from now is the fact that the hours in itself are small. You don't have to be an author entirely. You don't have to be a full-time author to be a bestseller. What you can, however, be is a creator, and that's where writing comes in. Being an author takes plenty of different forms. Let's use this notebook I've been working on as your book. What you've been wanting to write is an original idea, whether it's fictional or non-fictional. You want to tell an original story based on the information you gathered from several different sources, along with explaining things in a simplified manner. That can be challenging, especially for those who want to start writing but don't know what to do with that path. What I am here to tell you is the solution, the cheat code of sorts. This book right here takes a while. I counted, at least journal-wise, this is in total 158 pages. That said, you can take this information and change your life forever, all from the simple aptitude of nurturing your nature. This is the cheat code to making writing so much easier. If you want to be an original author or just an author in general, someone who wants to create some writing piece that will change the world with your own story and your own facts and information, nurturing your nature, you yourself, as the viewer, need to do these following steps. Let's talk about fiction versus nonfiction. As an author and a writer, you need to have a direct focus on what it is. Nurture your nature is elevating your life to the best fullest, and that starts by understanding what type of medium we're trying to write here. Fiction books and nonfiction books are the easiest manner to tell the difference. Obviously, there's going to be a huge dichotomy between the magic of ordinary days to writing fiction. Both of these are books, and yet they have different purposes based on what the author has written. Along with different time periods, they are in itself a form of time travel. This is great because it allows us to think about what we want as authors and writers, but also use the information we get. I enjoy this process of writing way more because of what I see. And going back to your own book here, this example, we can use what you want to write as the foundation. Nurture your nature is what we're going to keep on overlaying on top of this idea. By nurturing your nature, fixing a lot of the habits you do, we can then elevate the fiction or non-fictional text you're about to write soon. If you have been writing it, great. This is a fantastic way to get started, and I'm here to tell you how to stay motivated on this exact path here. Anyone can write a book. Anyone can use the information they have from the knowledge they've seen and write something with just a couple sticky notes, a couple ideas, and a couple blank pages. How do we figure out what you need to write is by understanding the niche. The niche of your culture and the niche of what you're trying to create with your own book will be determined by the habits you do. What do you do that you are personally credible for? What do you do specifically in your own life that doesn't involve writing? This is great, especially when you're trying to figure out the theme, the message, and how even just the information you're trying to write. If you have been a scientist for a good while and you've been wanting to write your own fictional world, then use the scientific elements you've learned in your craft to build on top of something. Even if you are someone on the younger spectrum and still in school, use those experiences to tell a better story. My first book, A Small World Smiles, which you can check on the top link of the description, uses the high school elements that I've experienced in my freshman year that I then just elevated because of my experiences. Same case applies to my current book and how I've been watching a lot of Survivor as well as participating in my own reality TV shows, allowing myself to understand the nature of said shows and talk about them in my book. This is why Nurture Your Nature is the cheat code to all of this. This is why I suggest this path of fixing yourself will not only allow you to be a better writer, but also be more concise and considerate with what you're trying to write. Let's start with the easiest way to fix your nature. Your nature of yourself isn't wrong, but there is something you can improve on. Let's be honest here. You have something you yourself are struggling with, and you need to fix it. You need to fix your sleep, you need to work out more, you need to eat, and so on. I may be an author, but I'm also one of the healthiest writers you will ever meet. As I always say at the start of these videos, and I make sure of that simply by changing my course of life. I change the direction in whatever path I need to head on. If I listen to too much music, I just simply stop. If I do too much of one thing, aka writing, then I go outside and come up with more inspiration. After all, anyone can get inspiration from anywhere. This isn't a universal question or a confusing topic to think about. It's easy to get the information you want simply because there's so much out there. And by using whatever information you see, there can be so many different types of environments you can write yourself in. Your nature will naturally change. Change your environment, change the specific habits you're doing, and then lastly, pride yourself on the goal of writing. This cheat code of fixing your own life is simple and yet also convoluted. At the same time, it all depends on perspective. The way we think about books and as a whole is determined on the perspective of the author. Going back to you want to be a credible author, correct? You want to write your own book and create something that's relatively effective in what you're trying to sell. And that is great, especially for those who want to tell a fictional world talking about a huge problem with today's climate. Creativity comes in the fact of problem solving. And by having a problem, there's always a solution. So then, pride yourself on top of the solution to show that your perspective is correct. I've never seen a book fail more than seeing the cases in which authors don't talk about the theme. They don't elevate it as much, and they talk about the little tiny details, which is great by itself. But if you want your book to sell, and if you want to tell an effective, well-meaning story up to the same level as the classics, then I'm telling you, you need to pride yourself in that story. You need to pride yourself in the goals and direction you're going to tell, whether it's fictional or non-fictional. Atomic Habits by James Clear and 1984 by George Orwell did not become some of the greatest books of all time in their respective fields simply by existing. They did it with the information told, and this will be your book. This will be what you want to strive for. And like those books I listed off that are currently sitting on my desk here, they will shape others' lives. And you can do that by priding yourself in the solutions you've gathered. All in all, understand what you can write. Understand the experiences you gather by fixing the daily habits you currently experience, whether that's sleeping, eating, or exercising. And lastly, use your own pride. It's okay to be prideful. It's okay to be arrogant of this story. You're doing something that's meaningful to the world. And if you want to create something that's well and effective against stupid agendas like AI and social media, then writing and being an author is the single best way to get yourself on this path. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you can use this knowledge to start writing. If you want to see just any kind of idea where to get started, check out my books in the top link of the description, along with my socials and my Instagram down there. You could see exactly what I do so I can personally help you. Until next time, keep on reading, Keep on writing, and take care.